In this tutorial I'm going to create this countershaft. It's from Too Tall Toby. If we take a look at the size, we see that the height or the length of it is 380 from the bottom here to the top, but there is no dimension between the center points here, so we have to rely on these two lines. So we see that these two lines are tangent to the cylinder on both sides here. So we have to use these lines to place this cylinder in the right position. And the angle of the lines, we see it's 20 degrees. That means it's 10 degrees. The slope is 10 degrees on both sides. And the same goes with this rib here up here. And the size of this cylinder is radius is 90 and the inner radius is 70. And this cylinder has the diameter of 75 and length 120, and the thickness of this cylinder is 60. So I will begin with the cylinder here, and then I'll continue with this these two ribs. So I will move the image to my second screen. Use the cylinder, drag it and drop it here, and radius 90, that means diameter of 180, and the thickness is 60. Then I will rotate it in this direction like so, and then I will continue with an extrude shape, drop it on the center point, then I flip the direction here and grab this height handle and snap it to the other side, and then I use Alt E to go to edit cross section, W to look at, and remove these lines. Then I come up here to select project this surface to the grid. Then I will draw the lines. I come up here to select a tangent 2-point line. We have it here. Click on the circle, drag it in this direction, and right click the slope minus 80. Add another one on this side, and that one should be minus 100. Then I will extend these two lines a bit, grab this blue handle and drag it upward, like so. Then I come up here to select a circle, a 2 tangent and 1 point circle. So I will select that line and click on this line, and then right click, and the diameter of the cylinder is 75. That means the radius is 75 divided by 2, like so. Now I can trim these lines and the circle, and do the same on this side here. Click finish. Then I right click and push to change the width to 25. Then I can select another cylinder, drop it on the center point, grab this handle to snap it to that point up here. Then I will flip it, and I will grab this height handle and snap it to that side. Now I can right click and drag, change the length of the cylinder to 120, like so, and then I will continue with this part to finish this part of the countershaft. We see the inner radius is 70, and these lines, these two lines continue a bit, and also on the inside. So I will do like this. I will select the cylinder, then press Alt E, W to look at, and if you see here in the properties I have hide edited IntelliShape. It's easier to see what I'm doing if I have that setting. So now I come up, right click here to select a circle. I will add a circle inside. The radius here is 70, and then I will use a tangent line click here on the circle and right click. The slope here should be 100. Come over to this side, do the same here, and slope here should be 80. Then we need another line here. This one should also be 100. And another one on this side, right click, and this one should also be 80. Like so. Then we need, we see that the width here is 85 from the radius here, the top of the radius to the bottom, 85. So I need a line. I will use a polyline. I'll begin up here. Of course, there can do it in other way, different way if you want to. But I click here, then go perpendicular down, right click, type 85. Then draw across the other lines like so. So this one should now be 85. Now I can remove these two. Come up here to select trim. I will trim the lines. And I will also trim this arc, that one, on this side, and not that one. Okay, then I can click finish. So, then I will continue with this rib up here. And we see that the width is 59 from this edge to the center, and the degrees, the angle, 20 degrees, or the slope is 10 degrees to the center. So to do that, I will use an extrude shape. I will drop it here. We know now that when I drop this extrude shape on this wall here, the cross section is flush to that wall, but I want the cross section to be on this side, so I have to rotate this block, and I'll select that axis. I drag it in this direction, -90, and then I will snap that handle to this side, this handle to that side. Then I will right click and drag, and the width is 59 to the center. That means 59 times 2, so that we have 118. So now when it is selected in IntelliShape level, I will move this wall or the rib to the center. So I will move the tribal to this point here, select that axis, then move it to this point. Let's see now, to this point, like so. Right click and push to change the width. That one should be 15. Now I can grab this handle, snap it to that point, and do the same on this side down here, like so. And then I press Alt E to go to edit cross section, W to look at, select this line on this side of the midpoint, and the angle here, or the slope, should be -80 or -100, like so. But on this side it should be -80. Then I will grab this line and drag it down a bit, so it will not, so there will be no gap between, let's see now, between the cylinder and this rib. Do the same on this side. Have to come a little bit closer, like so. Then right click, finish drawing, and now there is no gap here between the cylinder and the rib. So next step, I will add a cylinder on the top. So I will grab a cylinder, drop it on the surface, And we know that when we drop an object on the surface, it will always be pointing perpendicular to the surface because of the anchor here. So I will adjust the angle toward the center point of the cylinder. So I will use a tri-ball, unlock it, and then I will move the tri-ball to the center of the cylinder, select this axis, then I right click this handle and select to that point. So now it is on the top of the cylinder. Then I will drag this down a bit and change the diameter to 50, and I have to move it so it will be in the center or between these two sides. So I will use the tri-ball and right click. In this case I will use between face and point, between that face and that point here, like so. Now we have to change the height. Right click this handle, edit distance from the bottom here, 380, like so. Let's see now, 50 millimeters, yes. And then I will cut a hole through this cylinder, and the diameter here should be 20, and I will make it it will go to the center point of this cylinder. So next step is to add this hole. We see that diameter is 55, the depth here is 20, and the angle is 110, and the hole through the cylinder is 25. So I will use ICMEC tools, use holes, drop it here on the center point, and because I have done this before, I have already the right dimensions. 25, 60 millimeters, it goes to the center of the cylinder, and I'm using this one here. The diameter here is 55, but we have to change the depth here to 20, and the angle is 110. So now if I click OK, we have it here in the right position, and I will move the tri-ball to between face and point, so it will be at the center. Then I will right click the orientation handle, mirror and link, like so. So now we have finished the countershaft. So if I select it and go to properties and change here the mass density to 2700 and hit enter, the right mass should be 4112.